everybody. Welcome back to the No Stipulations podcast. I'm Logan here with my guest, Andrew. Say hi, Andrew.
What's up, guys?
He is a friend of mine. Brendan is indisposed for the week, so I have all but begged him to join me this week on the podcast.
It'll be a good time. We always get to talk about all these shows and what goes down. So actually being on here for once is a treat.
Yeah. I've mentioned him once or twice on the show, but he has finally made his official appearance, another honorary use to the podcast. But yeah, this week we're going to take you through the last episode of Smackdown, going until the most recent episode of NXT, where a certain someone made their debut. But we're going to get to that when we get to that. Andrew, take us to Smackdown in Knoxville.
Right. So SmackDown opened up in Knoxville, and
Whoa,
the
settle down.
one of the one of the good things is that Bianca Belair came out and was returning to her hometown. Give us a big old talk about everything she's been going through since Jade and then Naomi incident. And then, WWE rules, when you say someone's name, out they come. So then Naomi comes out and basically talks to Bianca and wanting all this forgiveness and that they can go after the tag titles again and be friends. And Naomi's basically trying to rewrite what's been going on over the past couple weeks. Bianca basically gives her the old, yeah, you messed up, and I'm not going to be too cool about that. And then what I thought was a pretty cool turn was Naomi coming out talking about how she went to Bianca's home and when no one was there, and how she was going to turn Bianca into her mom and not be able to walk. And I thought it was a pretty good twist to all that.
That was
And then,
crazy.
in typical fashion, we got one name drop, so then out comes Jade, and we'll get the whole Jade attacking Naomi and that we've been getting for the past couple weeks, and then Nia comes out, and this kind of leads into the next segment. But I was a big fan of this segment. I think that the Jade and Naomi stuff has been getting kind of stale for me because it's kind of the same thing week after week. But now that Bianca's finally getting involved more, I think it was a good addition to this really good feud going on.
I remember watching this segment, and don't laugh at me, but I watched this segment, and when Nia came out, I was like, what the hell is she coming out for? Are we about to have some stupid tag match again, all this? And then it comes back from commercial, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, they had a qualifying match. I all but I all but
was
slapped
excited.
myself. I forgot completely. I was like,
Yeah,
oh god, we're about to have another meaningless tag match.
I was excited for it because I don't know exactly if Bianca's back from injury yet or not, but I thought that this was a good way to push into this Money in the Bank qualifier match.
I feel like if she's not fully cleared for competition, she's darn close.
She's got to be. I have a little suspicion that she is cleared and we're going to get that clearance fully back at Money in the Bank, but I'm glad to see that she's getting some screen time again because I definitely miss seeing her.
Wait. Walk with me. Walk with me. So you remember in 2022 how they added an extra competitor to Money in the Bank?
I do.
What if they do that again?
I would be excited for it. Now, granted, if Bianca getting added to the match, I would 100% not think she would win it, and I would think it'd be more to make sure Naomi doesn't win it. But I'm never going to be opposed. The women are kind of carrying this company right now, so you want to add more women to the Money in the Bank match? Be my guess.
Honestly, put all the women in the Money in the Bank. Make it a Money in the Bank
Let,
battle royal.
let's do it. I'd be so down for that.
It'd be better than adding Austin Theory. No, excuse me. At the time, he was just Theory.
Yeah, it'd be. Oh, gosh, we don't need to go back to all that time.
And now he's in the belly of the tag division fighting New Catch Republic on main event.
Yeah,
Get those boys back on TV, huh?
I would be. I mean, I don't know where they went. We got the big thing with the return, and then just disappeared.
Pete Dunne had a kid. He cut his hair. He looks cool. Now he's on
I
the main
was
event
like,
wrestling Now he's wrestling A Town Down Under on main event. They should have pulled the trigger with that breakup after Vengeance Day, where they faced Obafemi.
I agree. I think that that breakup has been a long time coming, and everyone wants it, but they're waiting too long. It's kind of losing steam, and I think that's a big issue that we've been seeing with some of WWE's product. Is like we get super excited for these things to happen, and it just the long term storytelling that we're doing makes a lot of these steam die down before it actually happens.
Yeah, I've told Brennan this a couple of times. I've said the long term booking makes the short term product difficult to watch.
It definitely does. But then when you hit, but the one thing that always gets me is you hit those climax moments, and it's like, this is why I watch wrestling. But then you look back, it's like, man, getting here was a drag. Like, we need some better short term moments to help us get to these long term moments.
Right, like a perfect example is Cody losing the Mania 39 match. They just had him dick around for a year between that. Why?
Yeah, just doing odd and end stuff just to build up to what was a fantastic finish, and like every like I mean,
They
no one's
almost
ever
they
gonna complain
almost ripped
about
it away from him again.
Yeah, and so I just think that while all these long-term storytelling, like once again, they're great. We definitely need to we need some more short-term stuff to get us to that final product.
Yeah. Like I was thinking about this the other day for like let's say the Attitude Era, I guess. I know everyone harkens back to the Attitude and the other eras, but for example, there were so many more title changes back then. If Cody had lost the title like once or twice, his reign would have been so much cooler if he had won them back and still made it to Mania as champion. Like if he had actually
Oh,
lost the title at Saturday Night's main event to Kevin Owens when he pile drived him, that would have been awesome.
it would have been great.
Because
And
then it would
I
have been
think
the fight to get it back.
another issue is that I also see with champions nowadays, and this is why I've been a big fan of Jay's reign, is that they don't wrestle a ton. You know, usually you get the belt and then you disappear.
Right. Like Dominic has had one defense.
Yeah, and to me, it's just like I want to see the champions compete more. I want to see them. You don't even have to put the title on the line all the time. Just have them lose to people, because then it makes these title matches more interesting. Because now it's like, oh, you don't just know that the champion's gonna retain because it's not a major match. Like we need to start seeing some title changes at like these Saturday night main events on more Raw and SmackDown shows.
That's
Just
why
so every
that's
time
why
that
EO
happens,
that's why EO winning the title on a random Raw was incredible.
against against Rhea, who no one was expecting Rhea to lose the title before Mania. Like no one was guessing that.
No one.
And I just think that that type of stuff makes for great moments because because everyone loves EO and everyone got behind EO after winning that, and just that's how you do good short term moments to build to your long term booking.
And she still won at WrestleMania, so it paid off even more.
Yeah, and that was the best part is like if you know you're gonna have like for example Io win at WrestleMania, just have her win the title a couple weeks earlier on a Raw. Like it'll still mean something when she retains it at WrestleMania. But let's add some flair to it. Let's add some
Drama.
short-term moments for everybody.
Because I think you and I both thought Rhea was going to win it back a couple weeks later.
So I did too, especially when they did, because I thought that they were going to do the thing where when Bianca was the special guest, that Rhea will just win it back, and they just wanted to give Io her moment, but no, it was good story booking, it was good storytelling, and then we got an amazing match, arguably probably the best match of WrestleMania to me this year, and it's great long-term booking, great short-term booking, and I think that we got to get to more of that.
Yeah, definitely. But back to the show. That Money in the Bank qualifier, like we mentioned, it was a really fun match after a really fun segment. And a lot of people give Nia flack. I get it. I do. But she's improved heavily in her second run. And you can see that she did a crossbody off the top rope in the middle of this one. I was
impressed. I'm definitely one of those people that was always like not a big fan when Nia was on screen, but this second run, like you could always, if she's out there, she's gonna put on a good match, and she always pulls out stuff that I never would have expected.
Yeah, her and Tiffany on SmackDown was incredible a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I was surely impressed when I'm starting to hear that. I'm starting to get excited when Nia gets involved in feuds because of how much she emphasizes and puts it on a good match. That you could tell she's been putting in the work.
Yeah, absolutely. But even after that, she had lined up for that Annihilator on both women. Naomi got out of the way, Jade got squished, and Naomi rolled up Nia to qualify.
I think this is a great way to book a heel win. Like Naomi didn't obviously hit her finisher or do anything like that, but this is a great heel win. And I think that Naomi needs more type of wins like this to push her new run.
Yeah. Did you see the video she posted on Twitter for Jade's birthday of pushing in the razor blades into the cake?
Oh my god, I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah, definitely.
That type of stuff is like I want more heels like that. Usually the heel is the guy who comes out, talks a little bad about the good guy, but
we need haters.
I need haters. I need full-on haters who want nothing but violence.
Like,
I'm all for it.
That's why Punk and McIntyre was so good, because even when Punk was hurt, Drew was still shitting on him.
Yeah, and like I need stuff like that. That's the type of feud we need. Like back whenever we get people showing up at others' houses and brawling at supermarkets. Like let's do more feuds where there's segments that aren't just on the show. Like every time you see, like I see Twitter and Naomi and Jade are tweeting at each other, that type of stuff is just I'm enjoying that. In this wrestling world where we don't have kayfabe as much,
right?
Seeing stuff like that, I'm always a big fan of.
Yeah, definitely. It adds more realism towards it, and even though kayfabe is all but dead, it still does a good job of pushing it. Like maybe they actually do hate each other.
Yeah, and like most fans understand the fact that even if like they're pushing this hate and stuff like that, that it's not all real.
Right.
Like most fans understand that, but most fans don't want it shoved down their face. Most fans just want to be able to like sit back and relax for a couple hours and just think that all the shit on screen is real.
That's why I hate this unreality of wrestling thing. It's like why are we going behind the curtain? You've already always talked about heels and faces in the post event pressers. Shut up.
Yeah, I do not like post event presses. I think that I think WWE is trying too hard to be like actual sports, like
UFC,
football, UFC, stuff like that. Yeah, UFC is a great example because of TKO.
Burn TKO to the ground.
We could get rid of TKO, and I'd be so happy about it.
Oh, brother. What's next? What's next on this?
So after this amazing match, we get a backstage segment, always a good time, and we're back to Chelsea. Chelsea, she's talking to Aldis, and she's hiding her face half the time because she busted her nose, right? She wants her title back. She thinks that Zelina needs to be stripped of it. And Aldis does, the general manager thing, like, well, you're not medically cleared, so I'm not going to help you out. We can't give you another shot. So Chelsea Green, being the fantastic one she is, tells Fire, well, since I can't do it, you take care of the match. And Aldis is like, yeah, sure, as long as you just get out of here. Like, quit bothering me. Let's go. Get out of here. And then this backstage segment kind of ends with Tiffany being interviewed about Money in the Bank. Got to be worried about, someone cash in. Who is it going to be? Who are you worried about? And then out Naomi, fresh off her win, gives her a warning about, hey, you better watch your back. And then, of course, the queen, the best on SmackDown, Alexa Bliss, gives Tiffany a fantastic warning that, you should really just be worried about me. And great. I'm backstage segment. Great way to build up the U.S. title, and then great way to continue promoting Money in the Bank coming up.
For those of you unaware, as I'm sure the majority of our viewing audience is, our friend Andrew here is a big Alexa Bliss fan. If you couldn't have guessed that.
WWE, she is fantastic. I argue all the time that her Goddess run is the best women's heel run we've seen.
And you wouldn't know it, but his profile on Discord is #1 EO Sky fan.
I love to be some EO Sky also. I definitely I started being a real resident EO Sky fan when the stuff came out about how she almost left WWE, and just seeing her finally getting her moments and how and like the genuine joy on her face, and it's just and also in ring capabilities. I think that no one can stand to her right now. I think that she's the best in ring wrestler in WWE, women's side at least.
I know that's right.
And I think that there's good powerhouses. I think that there's good women wrestlers, but overall wrestling ability, I just don't think anyone can come close.
Fair enough. Next segment is R-Truth. Earlier in the show, he had asked Solo and if he could take JC to the ring, take your husky son to the ring and teach him a lesson. Mateo won off Tour of the Islands, and they jumped him after, but Jimmy Uso arrives and sends the others running. This is the last time we'll see R-Truth on WWE TV.
I think that makes this segment itself just a little like
more.
Like it did its job, like what it was wanting to do, but it's just like knowing that now this is the last time we're ever going to see R-Truth. It's just like I wish we would have gotten more.
It bugs the hell out of me, man.
It's I just the fact that people are on Twitter and talking about he who shall not be named and about how this would never happen under him is like there's an issue going on when people are willing to be like, hey, like this would never happen under him, like we wouldn't lose WWE lifers like this just cause. And I think that I really hope that TKO realizes what they're doing.
Those people also failed to admit that the product would suck if he who shall not be named came back.
Yes. They failed to admit that, but they no support under him, but they do bring up good points. It seems like with TKO anymore, these WWE lifers are not respected as much as it used to be. It's more of like they don't keep people around who are universally loved because of just what they bring to the show.
The only credit I will ever give he who shall not be named is he loved wrestling. That's the only thing I'll ever give him.
Yeah, you wouldn't see the corporate level that's happening with.
You can see a lot of other problems, but
yes, but the corporate greed that we're starting to see with WWE, where it's slowly becoming a more, I think they're leaning too much into the
business
TV show side of things instead of just the actual wrestling part of it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, what segment was next? I don't want to talk about that anymore.
So after that, we actually got arguably the best part about SmackDown right now is the tag teams division. So Street Profits came out.
Definitely the best part.
We're talking about how the Wyatt Six are back and how basically they're like, the Wyatts are back and they're like, we're not face contending, like we're not scared of anyone. Then comes the Gauntlet. Fraxium comes out talking about how they didn't get their fair shake, which Fraxium, great debut by the way, a couple of weeks ago when they first came out, and I'm just glad they're getting stuck right in the middle of this at the beginning.
Did you see Fraser's tweet after last week? He's like he always tweets out Fraxium is fine, but then he tweeted out last week, he said Fraxium is ... scared. Fraxium is terrified.
That's just the best. That's the best way to do the Twitter. So I've been like, and also like helping sell the Wyatt Six's return by doing stuff like that. Like it was fantastic. It was such a good.
Yeah, like Montez Ford on the top rope. He was literally screaming. He's like, "What? What is that?"
Yeah, that's the type of stuff we need for these big returns because this was a big return when the Wyatt Six coming back and
especially on Bray's birthday.
Actually selling. Yeah, and them selling it the way that they did it helps because it helps them come back and people actually get excited about them again.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you'll ever not be excited when you hear that music hit with that little piano where the lights go out.
That piano hits, the light goes out. We all get remembrance about Bray, and then we see that group, and it's just you're never gonna hate it.
Right in the feels.
And then, so after Fraxium comes out, Motor City Machine Guns come out, plead their case, and they're just, talking about why they should have the title chance. And DIY comes out, and then do the typical stuff like, oh, we're gonna complain, and we're gonna do our thing. Candice LeRae basically telling Fraxium, you just got here, get to the back of the line, like there's other people in line.
Saban told her to shut up right to her face.
Oh,
Shut
it
up,
was
Candice.
fantastic. And then what I thought was pretty cool was when Ciampa was like, "Hey, everyone, a moment of silence for the death of the tag division."
They've been doing that for a while. They did it at the Smackdown I went to in New Orleans, and it's basically a countdown to boo. Like moment of silence in 3, 2, 1, boo.
And it led right to the lights going out, and you know who's here to cause some havoc? The Wyatt Six. It was great. Wyatt Six, hell breaks loose, everyone's fighting, and the Wyatt Six are back on top again, looking strong. And I think that while it's still the beginning, hopefully I don't jinx it, I'm liking the direction we're going with the Wyatt Six with their return this time.
Yeah, I feel like their original plan was kind of limited in what they were allowed to do with the going after the people who hurt their family. And it's like, I get why they did that originally, and it worked with Gable perfectly. But it's a limiting booking ideology, I guess.
Yeah, I think that building them up as this really destructive force is a good idea. I don't necessarily think that I want the tag titles on them this quickly. I think that if I could do a perfect book, put them in a multi-tag match, and you have them lose by them not getting involved or someone doing a sneak win, and just keep building them up, because I would hate for them to get I would hate for number one, I want the Street Profits reign to last so long, because I think that they do a fantastic job.
10,000 day reign.
I hope that I might stop watching wrestling again if I ever see 1,000-day reign in my life. I'll take that back. If Io Sky holds it for 1,000 days, I'll be happy.
Io Sky and Ilya Dragunov can hold the title forever.
And you know what? I wouldn't be opposed to that. We'll have to make new titles, because I never want them to lose them.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that putting the titles on them too early would be an issue, where it's like, let's think that, like what happened with the Fiend, for example. Like, you build up this ensemble force and you put the title on them immediately.
Who's the tag team's Who's the tag division's Goldberg?
Yeah, who are we bringing in? Are we just gonna have Goldberg cloned and bring in 2 Goldbergs to have them take out
Goldberg and Gilberg?
Oh my god, well, that would be an amazing tag team.
Oh my god!
But I like their return. I like how they're getting booked, and let's hope that they actually continue to do a good job.
Yeah, definitely. I have faith in everyone involved, because Nikki Cross, despite what she's been given to work with, is a quality performer. Eric Rowan, we know what he does. Bo Dallas is great. And my favorite of the group is Dexter Lumis, obviously, because he's just nuts.
I think Dexter Lumis's whole look and his vibe is perfect for this role, and I think that, and like I Dexter Lumis is he just looks like a cool wrestler too. Like, some guys just have that look to them, and Dexter Lumis just does a fantastic job with it.
Yeah, he looks like the guy you'd run into in an empty shack in the woods.
He looks like would be a genuine member, a part of this group. Like, you wouldn't even have to do all the fancy get up and stuff like that. He would be, yeah, that's a Wyatt Six guy.
Yeah, and then Joe Gacy too. He was already creepy in NXT.
Yeah, I was Joe Gacy. I didn't give him a fair look. My first real interaction with Joe Gacy has been the Wyatt Six, and I've been impressed. It's made me want to go back and look at his former stuff while he was at NXT.
Yeah, he's talented. Everyone in that group is a talented wrestler, and it just makes me wonder how they're gonna do this.
It'll be interesting to see. I hope so. But what was after that?
More tag team stuff. Los Garza's
tag team stuff
versus Ray Phoenix and Javon Evans. You had Ethan Page on commentary, because he had that fatal 4-way going ahead at Worlds Collide against Phoenix, Evans, and Laredo Kid from AAA. Ethan Page has said he was on commentary already. He interferes. He costs the faces because he sent Phoenix over the announce desk. And Los Garza's pinned Javon Evans for the win. And I gotta tell you, when I saw Evans, I was like, Javon's on SmackDown? Good for him.
I love Javon getting this push. I think that, we talked about when he got put in the Oba and Trick triple threat match. He was definitely like, I think he was a star of the match with everything he's doing.
Without
so
a
seeing
doubt.
him getting some screen time on
Main roster.
SmackDown, give him more of that. Let him just excel what he does best.
Yeah, he is such a natural athlete. He's gonna be a star more sooner than later if he isn't already.
Oh yeah, he's destined for greatness, and I think that he will get. I hope as long as he gets booked properly, which I think that we have seen that.
I trust Sean.
Yeah, I think Sean's very good about building up the right guys, and so we just gotta hope that his eventual main roster run will be the same.
Yeah, I still think Javon should be the one to dethrone Oba.
I'm kind of with you on that boat, but at the same time, I just don't see anyone dethroning Oba for a while, and
right. Well, Javon's also only 21, so there's time.
Yeah.
God, he's younger than
someone up because
he's younger than me. I don't like that.
I am ready to see. I want Oba to come to the main roster. I think that it would be. I think he's ready. I don't know. I'm not NXT. I'm not as knowledgeable on, so I'm not sure how long he's been in NXT. But Oba obviously is someone that Sean is like this. This is my guy.
He actually only won the North American title last February.
Okay, so he hasn't been in very long.
No, he's really fresh to wrestling. He was a track and field guy at Alabama. To start off with, you saw. Okay. I don't know if you saw during a segment. Javon was like, "You from Alabama?" And he says, "Roll Tide."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I always saw. I always kept picking up on the Alabama stuff, but I didn't know enough about Oba to be able to put two and two together. So
he won the 2023 Men's Breakout Tournament, and he won the NXT North American Championship January 9th, 2024.
Okay, so he's been in NXT for 2 years now. Okay.
He signed with the program and the NIL stuff. I think it was the same class as maybe Tiffany.
I definitely think Oba's ready for the main roster. I think that the problem with Oba coming to the main roster is you got to book someone that actually we think is going to beat him. And so I think
the Rusev Vortex, baby.
Yeah, I think that I think that's something that Sean's building to right now. And then Oba can come onto the main roster and just absolutely tear through everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, they've already got so many unstoppable monsters. What are you going to do?
If perfect booking, I would just have him come in and immediately feud with Rusev or Sheamus. Give him another big guy to really push him over, and then I think with Oba, the sky's the limit. I think that he's going to be our next good big guy, and
get ready for 6 Tozawa squash matches, Bucko.
Tozawa, the king of all squash matches. Sometimes you got to put someone over, and you got to call the power of Tozawa.
Power of Tozawa. He's a better man than me.
Hey, he's probably getting paid plenty to take on all those squash matches, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Goodness.
So after that was the Alba Fire versus Zelina Vega match, and I'm not gonna lie, every time these matches come on, I get kind of turned off, and I can't tell if it's because of how the United States title booking has been. Maybe I'm just not the biggest Zelina Vega fan, which I was always rooting for her to finally get her point. But, it's always the same thing. Chelsea tried to interfere, ends up, and when she interfered, hurting Piper instead. And then we get a code red for the win. I mean, it did its job. It wasn't really anything spectacular. It's not anything you're going to, a week goes by and you're like, oh, that was one of the best parts of SmackDown. So, but yeah, all in all, it did its job. This U.S. run since Zelina Vega's kind of got the title, it's kind of not been. I haven't been, as invested into it.
Yeah, it's something. It's really just it's a mid-card title. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of an afterthought at the moment, but whatever.
I think it also gets some hate. I wouldn't say hate, but I guess it gets some complaints from me because the IC title on Raw is doing a fantastic job right now. The women's IC title, that it's a centerpiece of Raw right now,
Well,
and so I
yeah,
want to
but
see
one
that
of
for the
them,
US title.
nothing against any of the women in the SmackDown mid card division, but one side has Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. I don't think that's a fair
Yeah,
comparison.
yeah. I don't. You can't really compete with
One of the
those
best
two
women's
stars.
wrestlers of all time, and one of the best upcoming stars in the women's division.
Yeah. So I think that we need to get that mid title interesting a little bit. And speaking of it, the next segment right after does exactly what I hope it does. We're gonna spice it up a little bit.
Yep, because you got Miz. He hyped up Mello for his qualifier match. He's like, lock in, follow the play. Same thing they've been doing. That Andre pendant is horrible. But backstage, Julia runs into Zelina, looks down at her, and she says, I want that title.
And just my complaints are immediately fixed. And I think that to me, this kind of solidified that Julia's not going to win Money in the Bank.
Right.
But I'm okay with that. That means we're getting Julia to feud immediately with Zelina and maybe some little bit of Chelsea Green sprinkled into it. I'm all for it. Let's get that mid card title some interest.
That Julia versus Jordan Grace at Evolution for the U.S. title. Ooh.
I'm book it now. Let's just pre-plan it. Let's get it going.
Give me the book, Hunter.
Evolution. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I think
that needs to be like a 10. That needs to be like a 10-match card. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, they better tell all the women, hey, you're gonna be off next week because you all have a match. Like, it's on a 4-hour, 5-hour show. Every woman's competing. Let's just do it.
Give me 2 days of Evolution. Damn it. I don't care at this point. Give me Evolution Mania. Put all the women, even from NXT too. Get them all in there. I don't care.
It's just the women are carrying the company. Like, I think if you look at both the men and women right now, like the men have bigger stars. Well, I say bigger stars, but Rhea Ripley is still a part of this women's division. But you could see that the top of the men's is very stacked.
It's top heavy. It doesn't
roster,
trickle down for the men.
Yes, but the women's roster is filled with talent, filled with good competitors, and you can tell that they're also working a lot hard because, like we mentioned with Nia earlier, these women are. You can tell that they're getting better and they're putting on great matches.
Yeah, definitely. They're them and this. I've said this to Brendan before. On SmackDown, it's the women's division and the tag team division that's keeping it afloat.
Yes.
They need to end this bloodline nonsense.
Unfortunately, the main event title on SmackDown is
stuck in a vortex.
We'll get to that. But so after that, we get a promo with Damian Priest, and I've always been a big Damian Priest fan, and I think that the Drew thing has really pushed him even farther, and I hope that we start doing some more with Damian. But it comes out, thanks Drew for basically helping him relive who his old Damian was, with their steel cage match, and it was a good match. And he calls out Jacob Fatu, so he respects Fatu, how he's proud of him, but he thinks that Fatu kind of hangs out with the wrong crowd. It's kind of one of those things that you get told by your high school coach, like, hey, you're a good kid, just don't hang out with the wrong people. And of course, WWE fashion, you say his name and he comes out, and Jacob enters to prepare for his match after this promo.
Yeah, he's got another triple threat qualifier, and I will always love triple threats. They're the purest forms of wrestling, and I'm going to say that until the day I die. Because in this, it was Jacob Fatu, Carmelo Hayes, and Andrade. And the beauty of triple threats is you never know. JC Mateo interfered in the middle of it, but Jimmy Uso came out, kicked him in the mouth. And Andrade rolled up Jacob Fatu.
What a shock.
Holy cow.
The one guy in this match who I thought had 0% chance
Andrade.
of winning, because I thought if you're going to give someone the win, you'll give it to Carmelo.
Right, I thought he was going to pin Andrade.
Andrade getting it, and pinning
the
Fatu.
first person to pin Jacob Fatu is Andrade.
what a great push for Andrade, because he's always been a good, solid worker, and he'll be great in the Money in the Bank match. And
Oh, definitely.
just
You look at his ladder
I'm
matches when he was Andrade Almas. He was putting on classics.
classics, and like I said, surprise of the night for me, banger match, and even like you put those three in a ring, of course the
Oh
match is
yeah,
gonna be great.
it's hard to jack up a match like that.
And
It's cash money.
this led perfectly to a backstage segment, and we're finally getting more. The cracks are starting to show, and we're getting Fatu away from the bloodline vortex. Basically, him crashing out, no one wanting to come interrupt him because he's mad that he lost his chance, and then Solo trying to calm him down, and Fatu basically saying, "Hey, stop helping me. Like I don't need your help." And I think the cracks are starting to show, and the whole we're gonna get Jacob Fatu to break away from the bloodline and be the star that he is.
Now, don't make it take 4 months, Triple H.
Yeah, if it needs to take a couple months to have them fight it out, we finally get the return of our Tonga Loas and the Tama Tonga
Or I
and
guess I should say,
whatever.
don't make the breakup last that long. Make them
Yes,
break up soon, and then have the
make them
feud last.
make them break up at Money in the Bank by Jacob Fatu absolutely killing Solo during the
In the
match.
Dude, yeah. If Jacob came out, did his moonsault off the ladder onto Solo, would already build the
Perfection.
feud perfectly. Uh,
Perfection. And to me, SmackDown is doing great right now. And then we lead into our final segment of the night.
our main event. Cody Rhodes back on SmackDown. The captain, the QB, he's back. I know you have mixed feelings about our dear son of Texas or Georgia, I
I
guess.
I'm not the biggest Cody Rhodes fan. I think that I get why he's pushed. I get why people like him, but I'm just not completely sold on him. But I respect what he brings. You can tell SmackDown has missed him since he's been gone. You can tell that him being back is definitely good for the SmackDown.
Yeah, definitely. We could talk about a lot of things. How AJ got the drop on me. How Kevin jumped me by my bus when my family was sleeping on the other side. How the final boss demanded his soul, and the scariest part was he was 100% serious. And he apologized for being so
Yeah.
worked up. He says, "Here comes the surprise." And Jay comes out and calls for his music again. And I was looking at my watch during this. I'm like, Jay, we have 2 minutes. Cut it out. Let's go. But
I am all
John,
for the Yeet Fest.
but
All for the Yeet Fest.
John Cena comes out, interrupts the Yeet Fest. He called both men in front of him pro wrestling wannabes and nepo babies. And then he spent way too long hyping up Logan Paul for for his
It,
music to hit. And then he comes out, he's like, I should be world heavyweight champion. And they go back and forth, and Cena tries to leave, but Logan stops him. Tension brewing. They should end this before Money in the Bank. And this happened at Saturday night's main event, but Jay kicked Logan in the mouth, so thank you for that, Jay. And Cody and Jay stand tall. And
I
that
have
was
a really bad feeling this is going to lead to John and Logan winning and Money in the Bank.
probably
I'm not. The Cena farewell tour has not been
disaster.
as great as I was hoping it would be, and we're adding Logan Paul into the mix, and
It's a mess waiting to happen.
and we're putting both of our main event titles in a tag team match to not be defended at Money in the Bank. And I think we're going in the wrong direction with this. I think that they want to set up Logan against Jay again. They want to set up Cody and John, and the only way you do that is put them all into a tag team match. And we'll probably hear Fiend hit the music. Travis Scott will come out, and
Fiend,
it's gonna be
fiend, fiend,
it's gonna be a
fiend.
social media match. And I'm so tired of social media matches.
Whew. Yeah, tell me about it. We took 39 minutes to talk about SmackDown.
Oh boy, and we
We
still
need
got
to.
2 more shows to go.
We can I guess double time it a little bit for Raw and NXT because I told you we were going to be recording for an hour and it's already been about that. So yeah, let's not so much speed through it, but like let's go.
Yeah,
Take us
so
to
we
Tulsa.
start Raw off with CM Punk comes out. Fans love CM Punk. It's always loud pop. But he calls out Dwayne. Says that he's gonna win Money in the Bank, and he'll be the culture, and then Cena's gonna get his bones picked clean. Basically, calling his shot. He'll see the crowd again tonight, and here comes Sammy's music, another Raw favorite. Everyone gets excited. Basically, tells Punk, "Hey, you have to win this. Like, you're the only shot that Seth doesn't win. If Seth doesn't win, says that Seth has never beaten Punk. But also with a caveat to that, it says, "Hey, Punk, when you win the world title, I'm coming for you." And they both shake hands, and then they both say, Punk says, I'm excited for it. I can't wait." And there's a good first segment of Raw. Good way to start the show.
Yeah, Raw this week actually had its lowest ratings since it came to Netflix, which is honestly deserved. Lock in.
It was
Triple H.
deserved. It's time for Raw to start, being a thing, and I'm ready for Raw to start being the flagship show again.
And back on Sammy, that might be the only good part of the Rumble being in Saudi, is Sami Zayn having his moment in the sun.
And you know what? Let's have Sammy win it this year. It would be a great way for that Saudi Rumble to finish off.
Imagine an actually entertaining Vegas crowd cheering on as Sami Zayn gets the 1, 2, 3.
And finally wins a world championship. It'd be a great way to end his story.
Yeah. We go backstage. It's Liv and Raquel talking, and if you haven't noticed, we're missing a member of the Judgment Day in the clubhouse. The TV is off.
And there's no more apples being eaten, no more WWE 2K being played.
Carlito is being let go as well.
And I'm talking about these WWE lifers, these comedic reliefs that WWE has. Just they don't get the respect that they had under the other regime, and I think I hope TKO opens up and realizes why we need these people.
Yeah, because during Raw and NXT, there were so many "We Want Truth" chants. There were signs.
Crowd needs to not stop. Crowd,
don't
give up.
The talent was wearing shirts. They had to tell the talent to take the shirts off.
Yeah, Rhea was posting TikToks of her in her R-Truth shirt, and then her segment on Raw, she didn't have it because they told her to take it off. So I think we need to keep it up, guys. Keep it up.
I think this could be the turning point of when TKO finally starts to understand, hey, this isn't actual combat sports. This is an entertainment business.
Yeah,
the funny guys are entertaining.
Yes, the funny guys, WWE lifers, are there for a reason. So we need to not.
Oh God, can you imagine if they let go of Natalya?
Yep, it would be horrible, especially because her last match was great. And
the women's division would revolt, man.
These people are here for a reason. Like they stayed around because they put in the work. They helped put over the younger people, and they all have meaningful reason to be in the business. And so just getting rid of them because they're old, or maybe they're not part of actual wrestling matches. TKO is gonna have to wisen up, or we're gonna see. There's going to be a big drift between the fans and the company.
Yeah, it's getting worse by the second. But yeah, Liv and Raquel were talking. Roxanne walks in. Liv tells her to butt out. She goes out there for her match. She walks past Io and she says, "I'm going to win. I'm going to cash in on you." Io says, "It's not happening." Liv says, "Watch me." And then we have our qualifier match.
And we get a great qualifier match. Not only was it a great match, but La Primera, arguably the queen of NXT currently, is finally on Raw.
Stephanie Vaquer
gets an amazing video package, gets pyro.
Oh yeah,
they're like over the moon.
When Triple H got to book like Roxanne, Julia, and Stephanie, you just know Shawn had to pry them back out of his hands.
Oh,
Shawn's like, give them back, Hunter.
Trips was like, Shawn, hey, it's time up. Like, I'm taking them. It's time for them to come to the main roster.
Yeah, no, he was like, they are mine. Oh, absolutely, the match was fantastic.
Great. And arguably a pretty. I thought it was a shock.
Yeah,
with Stephanie Vaquer ending up with the win.
Yeah, because now she's pulling double duty this Saturday.
she's pulling double duty, and everyone was expecting
Liv.
Liv to win. Like Liv was Liv was, I think, like one of the favorites to win the Money in the Bank for a lot of people, and so her taking getting thrown into the steps, and then Ivy now taking the pin. I love Ivy. You know, I hope one day we can push her a little bit.
But with these triple threats, there's
I,
somebody that's in there clearly to take the pin. And,
yes,
well, not clearly, because everyone thought it was going to be Andrade.
yeah, and so, but and stuff like that. I think the Andrade stuff is like why these triple threats get so exciting because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
But yeah, so now all three NXT call-ups and
I
Money
was
in
just
the
about
Bank.
to. I was just about to say that.
It,
got
it's
Julia,
fantastic.
Roxanne, and
This is how
Stephanie.
you book them. This is how you book them.
The three most recent women's champions in NXT are all in Money in the Bank. Incredible.
And it has built the women's Money in the Bank ladder match to be. It's probably going to be one of the best Money in the Bank women's matches we've seen.
It's
the most stacked one.
It's gonna kill the men's match.
It better not. It better. I better not. It better either start the show or end the show. That's all I can say. Like, it has to be one of the two.
I imagine it's gonna start this show because the main event is that stupid tag match. They already announced that.
I'll watch the beginning of the Money in the Bank, and then
Check out at the
when
end.
it comes around, I'll check out.
We go backstage. AJ Styles warming up for his match later tonight. Paul Heyman walks up and he says, "Happy birthday, AJ. You should also forget about Money in the Bank and worry about the Intercontinental title instead." Styles tells him to beat it. Heyman says, "We have a plan, AJ. You don't understand." And AJ says, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth," which I'm pretty sure is a callback to something from a couple of weeks ago.
I think it is, but I couldn't really
couldn't tell
figure
you.
it out. But I'm not the biggest fan of where AJ is right now. He's kind of involved in too many things. I really want the AJ Dominic feud to get pushed, and I want that to be where he focuses on. So I hope that after this week and after Money in the Bank, that's where AJ starts to go towards.
3 years ago today, we're recording this on Thursday, Cody Rhodes wrestled Seth Rollins with a torn pec inside Hell in a Cell.
What a match! That was one of the big things that made me respect Cody a lot when he for his return.
Yeah, I think that put him in a lot of people's minds. Oh crap, he's gonna be the one to take Roman out, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that you get a moment of a guy who's working hard and really loves the company, and that's how you book a good face, is when you see someone who's gonna give you everything. And even you take kayfabe out, you're like, this guy could have easily said, "I'm not wrestling this match," and made them figure it out.
Well, his doctors told him, I remember I heard this on a podcast of some kind, he was like, "Yeah, they told me I couldn't hurt it any worse," so I thought, why not?
Might as well wrestle. I mean, it's as extreme as it can get, and good for him. And I always have a lot of respect for people who can do that.
Definitely. Next.
We get the Rusev video package. I think Rusev's return has been great. He basically just, for pushing the Sheamus and Rusev feud, talks about how he got stabbed in the back by his old friend, and Sheamus better stay out of the way, or he's gonna get broken.
Ugh. And then backstage, Sheamus talks to 43-year-old Natalia and 39-year-old Tozawa and says, "Your time will come." Sure, Sheamus.
Yeah.
And Kathy,
Sheamus,
Kathy Kelly asks him why he went out there, and Sheamus says Rusev was a friend, but he left WWE because of his own decisions. His career was worse outside. And meanwhile, I've been putting on banger after banger. I believes.
I am very excited for this match to finally come to head. It's going to be a great match, and I'm ready for it. I mean, we got the two tag team squashers finally facing off.
Tag team squashers. Oh my goodness.
Speaking
of tag teams, hey,
at least into a tag team.
Judgment Day versus War Raiders.
We had Moon Day on commentary. They always do a fantastic job on commentary.
Their personas as heels hasn't been in, but they're good. They're funny on commentary.
I always their heel run. I don't think that the heel them as heels is bad. I think that the issue is that they made the heel center around
Biggie,
and they've done nothing with it. And so I think that that's just the issue for me. But anyway, once again, the match was great. We see the War Raiders all the time. We see the Judgment Day all the time, and so we get that fatigue with seeing them all the time. But they're all great wrestlers. You know,
Oh,
JD
yeah.
McDonough, Finn Balor, Ivar, they're just great. Like they're great wrestlers. But we get a funny part where Ivar fake throws JD into the New Day, causes the New Day to get mad. So then they get kicked out. They're like, "Oh, see ya, get out of here, you're gone." And then right as Ivar is about to absolutely squash Finn Balor, Roxanne Perez comes out. Disrupts the match. We get a victory for my boy. He hits his coup de grace, and Finn Balor's dead. He's back. He's
Dead
back to his old form.
Dead for this week.
And I think it's great. And I think that's one of the subtle things about this match that I'm a big fan of is that it's showing that Roxanne, because we have this issue with Roxanne Perez getting involved with Judgment Day stuff.
Run, Roxanne.
Roxanne Perez actually helps with wins, and Raquel has been helping people lose. And so it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like I like it. You know, anytime Finn Balor can get a win, I'm all for it. I'm never opposed to it.
Run, Roxanne. Run away from that man.
I think that once again, I hope that this leads to a Liv and Roxanne feud, but I don't want her to get stuck in the Judgment Day vortex. I hope it's just a building point for
She's
her.
already there, man.
Hey, let him in. I'm the guy who believes Finn Balor's going to win Money in the Bank qualifiers. Let me believe Roxanne's gonna be fine in this vortex.
Sure, man. Speaking of, exact opposite of a vortex, we have Becky and Lyra. Becky had a video package. She said, "I've done everything for Lyra. I'm the best thing that's ever happened to her." After commercial, there was a Stephanie and Rhea face-off, which is a huge deal because that's going to be a match everybody wants to see for a number of reasons. But
I cannot wait.
You are gonna explode when those two have a match.
Those two are gonna put on an absolute banger match, and it's gonna be La Primavera versus Mommy is gonna be fantastic.
Dude, imagine the pop if Rhea does Stephanie's move.
Oh, everyone will go nuts. Now you better put Booker T on commentary for
Oh,
that match.
dude, I need Pat to never do that again.
He can't. He's not Booker. He can't do it. Put Booker T.
He was
on commentary.
Barking. He was like no, Patrick.
When Pat has to go do football stuff, let's just bump Booker T to Raw for a little bit. Let him do his thing.
Honestly, yeah. To hell with it. But yeah, Lyra storms out to the ring. She tells Becky, "Get out of here so I can say it to your face." Becky does come out. Lyra tells her, hey, shut up. Your downfall needs to be studied. You got tired of being a good person. No one's ever hurt me like you have. Becky walks off. Lyra tells her to come back and fight. Becky says, the man doesn't fight in Tulsa. And then Lyra jumps her anyway. So they have that Money in the Bank match upcoming.
It's great. And like I told you before, I wasn't completely sold on Lyra. I think she's a great wrestler, but they didn't give her the mic enough.
Yeah,
and
she's an excellent talker.
They've thrown her into the deep end, going against Becky, and then going about personal stuff. And Lyra's fucking excelled. I think if anything, if she loses the title, this pushes her straight to the main event. Like give Lyra some main event time. She's ready for it.
Yeah, I would be thrilled. Lyra versus Io. They had that match at Queen of the Ring, the qualifier last year.
It would be so
good.
So good.
Yeah, then we got Jay and Sammy versus Big Meaty Men bumping meat. The match cooked for sure.
Yeah, 4 fantastic wrestlers. Like you're never gonna get less than a stellar match.
Well,
I guess we're a little indifferent about Jay.
Well, I'm not even talking about Jay. I'm just saying they've definitely had some bad matches with 4 wrestlers. But yeah, at the end, Sammy, he dove at the bronze, but they caught him. Jay dove after. They took them all out. And then Seth comes out of nowhere and stomps Jay into the dirt to end the match. They start beating on Sammy and Jay. Punk comes out with his steel chair and runs the bad guys off.
Yeah, and we, for a slight second, in my mind, I thought Sammy was about to die. I thought Bronson Reed was about to die.
Oh my God, the tsunami off of the top rope into the announce desk. I wanted
him to do it just to see if he could actually make the jump.
I was horrified. I thought he was going to... I didn't think he was going to make it if he jumped. I thought he was going to die.
Great match. Anytime I can see Braun Breaker in a match, I'm all for it. Braun Breaker is, I think, one of my favorite male star right now, and so it was a great match, and you gave the little hints with Seth Rollins saying, "Hey, we know where CM Punk's going to be at later tonight." You kind of got the hint of what was going to happen later.
We know where your family lives.
We cut backstage, more Judgment Day drama. Judgment Day is probably one of the bigger things on Raw right now, so we always talk about the Judgment Day. Liv basically calling Finn out and saying she understands what's going on. Chicken nuggies, on shoulder rubs. Finn, is playing dumb, like he doesn't know what's going on, and it gives Dom the title slap. But giving a little hint like, hey, you're probably gonna come for that title at some point.
Oh yeah.
I think we're setting up Finn taking over the Judgment Day, maybe kicking them out. We also get some more Demon Finn teaser, maybe with a little lunchbox in the back. Or maybe we're gonna get I hope we get a return of the Demon Finn, but we'll see.
Perhaps. And then Raquel has her match with Kyrie upcoming. At the end, Liv distracts the ref, and Io runs down and knocks her out. Raquel grabs her, but Kyrie kicked Raquel's skull into the ring post. Oh my god!
Great moment. That was a great bump. I loved
that. Sounded nasty.
Job.
And then she hit an insane elbow for the win. So Kyrie should be women's tag team champions right now.
Kyrie Sane has had a great return. The unfortunate incident with Zoe Stark. I don't think we ever talked about. We don't think that Kyrie was meant to take the pin with the Money in the Bank qualifier, and so Kyrie Sane beating both the tag champs pretty much by herself.
Put both of the belts on Kyrie.
Let's do Damage Control versus Judgment Day. Let's get some tag matches.
Yep. Backstage, we got Sammy getting looked at by a doctor who looks suspiciously like Samantha Irvin.
I gotta take a second look.
Yeah, Karrion Kross comes in. He says, "Sammy, you're a liar. You're a bad person, and like the rest of us." Sammy says, "You're wrong," and Kross says, "I might be, but I also might be right."
And the pop Kross gets every time he's on screen. Let's get this. Let's get this feud going. Let's get Sammy and Kross fighting each other. Let's go,
man.
We actually get another backstage film right after that. Gunther and Jay sitting next to each other. Gunther, giving Jay his praises. Say, he's doing a good job as champ, but he's still a chump. You're doing too much. You're worried about too many other things. And basically calls out the fact that he's gonna go help Punk tonight if he gets jumped. You're getting more seeds of what's gonna happen tonight. But Gunther, says, he's got something to worry about on Raw after Money in the Bank, so that's what he should be focused on.
And speaking of Money in the Bank, we have our last qualifier. It was AJ Styles versus CM Punk versus El Grande Americano. It was the first match involving CM Punk and AJ Styles since TNA in 2004. There was some interference from the Seth crew, and out comes Sammy and Jay as usual. Chaos ensues, and then El Grande Americano wins.
And I called this. I remember talking to you, and I said El Grande Americano is going to win this match, and I was like, he's going to win it. Watch it happen.
And I wanted to believe that Triple H wasn't as dumb of an idiot as he is.
Listen, lo and behold, El Grande wins, and now we're going to get Americano in the bank, and it's going to happen. I'm telling you right now.
If he wins Money in the Bank, I may just quit.
And the bad thing is
I've been able to deal with some of the things that Triple H has done, but if he gives El Grande Americano the Money in the Bank briefcase, when you had regular Chad Gable right there.
That's the thing is having Chad Gable in this match is never going to be a bad thing. It's just the gimmick character that turns people off.
If they had just put regular Chad Gable in the match, I would have been fine with him pinning AJ Styles. But El Grande Americano,
it's
nonsense.
I loved it most for the fact that I loved scrolling through Twitter and seeing everyone mad about it. That was a good time for me.
Okay, now something that I had Twitter talking, NXT,
and I unfortunately didn't get to watch it live, and so all of the NXT stuff I had to hear about from Twitter, and I was a little upset. But it started off with, Javon in the ring with Laredo Kid, got a whole bunch of shebang going on to start off. Ethan Page comes out, says the whole thing is bullshit, that he has to defend his title against Shawn Legacy when he wasn't even the one that agreed to it. Then he has the Fatal 4-Way, and Laredo, talks his smack. Shawn Legacy comes out. He says he's going to love winning that title. Just a whole bunch of... So we're setting up all these matches coming up. And then Vanity Project ends up coming out. And yeah, basically that they've got Ethan's back, and chaos breaks loose, and kind of leading to like all this stuff going on. But yeah, we're basically just building up a lot of what the match is coming up with this North American title.
Yeah, and they're also very hard pushing Evolve to matter because they kept talking about the Evolve title.
And I like that. I think that we want to get Evolve some more press because we want Evolve to be a serious thing when we start seeing these competitors come out. So
it's a developmental show for the developmental show. But yeah, then we had Chase U versus Dark State. Dominant win for Dark State. Andre Chase is sick of these guys. He wasn't even tagged into the match. And they hit the triple power bomb.
It did its job. I mean, right now we're kind of in a state where Dark State, if they're in a match, we don't really think they're going to lose. We need an actual good faction to, make them look like they have a chance of losing.
Right.
We go backstage. Laredo Kid, Legacy, Evans are all talking. Ava basically is like, "Hey, you got an 8-man tag match. It's coming up. This is what you got." Dragon Lee arrives because apparently Ray Phoenix is stuck in a plane.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, "Well, Dragon Lee, guess what? You come to help Ray. You come take his spot." And then Trick gets an interview about Santana about his match later. The match later tonight. Says that TNA's changed. Santana may be the standard, but Trick's here now, and so the standard's changed.
Yeah. Sure, man.
I mean, you know how I feel about Trick being the TNA champion, but
yep.
It is what it is.
More backstage stuff. We had footage from earlier in the week. Tyra May Steele, LFG Women's winner, is in the locker room. Ariana Grace doubts her Olympic medals are real, and they have a match made for tonight.
I guess that's one way to book a match. Hey, your gold medals are fake. Let's fight about it.
It was very Santino of her.
And then we get Miles Bourne versus Charlie Dempsey, and with Miles Bourne trying to finally be his own guy, not a part of the group anymore if he wins, and that ends up what happening. Miles gets an early pin combo. Dempsey gets a cheap shot, but big drop kick for the fourth for Miles to win, and it was overall a good match. Just I wasn't completely bought into it when I went over and watched it, but not a bad match in general.
It was entertaining to some extent. We had the culling. The boys were talking until Izzy decked Brooks Jensen with a steel chair, and she kicked him out of the group. And she's moved their match to next week as well. And Sean's like, "All right, Izzy, good call."
Sean's kind of just like, you know what? We'll go with it. Like, Izzy just doing what you got to do with, and yeah, I mean,
weird flex, but all right.
Segment. Then we got the battle of your medal is fake. Grace versus Tyra May Steele, and it was Steele's NXT debut, and I mean it was an overall good match, good debut match. It definitely felt just like, we're missing something on the card. Let's
debut this kid
here. Yeah.
Then we had Mike Santana do an interview. He called Trick a pretender. He says, "I know how good you are, but I only need to be 3 seconds better." That line went hard for no reason at all.
No reason at all, but it was awesome.
And then you can take your favorite segment of the night, even though you didn't watch it.
My favorite segment, and lo and behold, I wanted to shed a tear that I didn't get to watch this live. Fatal Influence comes out, and I was impressed with JC Jane's promo. She did a very good job selling her promo. Says that, all these the flavor of the month's coming in, and no one, and like all these people who support her, no one support her since these flavor of the months are coming in. But she's been in here putting the work in, and that it was about time for her to step things up. now here comes the shebang of the women. Laney Reed jumps the barricade. She's on NXT. Jace basically talks about how JC Jane proved that she could win the title. Like anything could happen. Lola Vice comes out. We're about to get a bunch of women coming out saying, "Oh, it's my time to be champion." Lola Vice comes out. We get Jordan Grace coming out.
Which, hang on, I thought she was going to Smackdown.
Well, I bet that was the plan, and then Trips probably thought, well, I don't have a good spot for her right now, so she can stay on for a little bit.
I guess.
I think she's only there to feud with someone we're about to talk about, but I could be wrong.
Perhaps.
Jada Parker comes out, talking about how she's the baddest bitch. Kalani Jordan comes out, talking about how, she's the one who beat JC before, even though Kalani right now is just losing to Sol Ruka, so, like, maybe, Kalani, you should just, we need to take a step back. Last Legend cuts her off, tells Jordan to zip it. Thea Hall jumps the barricade, tacking, and all hell breaks loose. Everyone's fighting. But then, the lights go out. And you're like, oh? No, and I think that an unexpected, like, we knew that she was going to debut, but not this early. Mariah May, my favorite AEW star, has made her appearance in WWE, in NXT, and I hope she steals the show. I love Mariah May. I have been ever since she lost to Timeless Tony Storm, and the rumors have been there. All I've been saying is I want her to start now. I want her to start yesterday.
I'm to this day upset that the Hollywood ending didn't main event that show.
It should have
made it. It was a layup.
It was literally the best feud AEW had all year, and all you have to do is just have it in the show, and fantastic.
It's perhaps the best women's feud ever.
And I think it did. I think it was very disrespectful to those two women that it didn't end the show. I think that AEW does a great job putting over those two women, but not having it main event was criminal. And then, Mariah May finally being on WWE. Mariah May, I'm so glad you're here.
This has clearly been her. This is her lifelong goal. It has appeared.
She came out. Yeah, she came out and said she's been wanting to do WWE, and like the first time she tried to come to WWE, they didn't take her, and so she's been putting in the work.
Yeah, she went to Japan with Stardom, then she went some other indies in America, then she went to AEW, had the best women's feud maybe ever, and now she's here.
And I am just, I'm glad she's on NXT. Don't keep her on NXT for long. She's a main roster star. Get her to the main roster. She needs to be there, and it's just time. Don't keep her in NXT for too long. Get her the quick turnaround like we've seen with Valkyria, Julia. It is time for WWE to finally get to experience Mariah May. She fantastic.
Don't put her on Raw. I do not need her flirting with Dominic. Let her be gay.
I really hope that this leads to more WWE people like branching off and watching AEW a little bit, because the stars on there are fantastic.
Yeah, dude, I've been watching it lately. I've said this a few times, but I've talked with Brendan about this. I feel like the companies have the same problem but opposite. AEW lets the wrestling talk too much, and WWE doesn't let the wrestling talk enough.
And my biggest complaint with AEW is I think it's a little too violent for me, and that's a weird thing to say.
Some of the bumps are a bit much. Like when Moxley took the spike back to the spine.
Gosh, dude. No, like there's no need for that stuff. But like
it's not even a tribalism thing. It's just why.
It's like and as someone who the operator, like why would you be okay with that happening to one of your guys? Like that's just not, to me, that's just not great. And then like you gotta think about like Will Ospreay right now, who's tearing it up in AEW, and I just think that
him and Hangman had that match at Double or Nothing. Holy crap.
So good. And I think, and as WWE fans, you want AEW to succeed, because it will make WWE worried about another company. Yeah. So the more succession that AEW does, the better product we're going to get at WWE, in my opinion.
Definitely. I need them to stop counterbooking, though. They have Evolution booked on the same day as All In.
And unfortunately, I'm gonna watch Evolution. All In is not. I'm just gonna watch Evolution.
I'm gonna have one on my laptop, one on my TV.
It's the counter booking is definitely frustrating, but hopefully it.
I definitely need
hopefully
to. We definitely need to support Evolution though, because
yes,
if it doesn't do well, it's just gonna be TKO's excuse like, oh, the women didn't do well. Yeah, it's because you booked it the same day as AEW's main event of the year.
So I'm gonna watch both. I hope that both companies do well, and Mariah May. I'm just excited. I'm excited she's here. But then we go backstage. Ricky Saints with that contusion on his larynx, taking one of the most brutal bumps.
Oh my god, dude.
I've ever seen.
That was nasty.
But yeah, basically explaining why Ricky Saints is out, what's wrong with him, and good old segment.
Then we had that 8-man tag match. Vanity Project was backstage with Ethan. He says they're going to take Dragon and Laredo's mask like he took Javon's smile. The match was great. Dragon Lee was cooking. His last couple of appearances has been incredible. The triple threat qualifier, this match, he was cooking. He hit that double stomp, and I don't even know what that last move was, but he got the pinfall win on one of the kids from Swipe Right.
Dragon Lee's a great star. He just got stuck in that LWO vortex, and I think that now that he's kind of breaking away from it, I hope that he starts getting more of the praise that he's a great wrestler. He's a fantastic wrestler.
Let him cook.
Then we got big old meaty men, Oba with Stone and Stevie, basically waiting for his match with Jasper. We're getting just meat on meat, and that's all. Sometimes it's all you need. Stevie says that he needs both their signatures. Jasper comes in, they do their big stare down, and that basically says that this is the first time you've ever had to look up to an opponent, and I'm kind of excited for it. I think that there must be a lot of faith in Jasper because they're just like, you're gonna feud with Oba, and we're gonna see how you do.
Yeah, it's gonna be something, and I feel like Jasper is someone you can introduce as a threat. Because he said it during this. He literally said, this is the first time he had to look up at somebody, isn't it? And it's just like, okay, wow, he might actually be a threat.
Now, do I really think Jasper's going to beat him? No. I could get proven wrong, but I'm the confidence in Jasper to bring him up and be like, yeah, you're feuding with Oba.
Yeah, he got Taker's seal of approval, too, which is like, oh my god. You can say whatever you want about Taker as a human being, but as a wrestling guy, for him to
if you get the Undertaker's seal of approval, you're getting pushed. Like that's
you better not suck if you got Undertaker's seal.
I mean, look at Rhea. Rhea got an American Badass entrance with him. On like what was it, the Netflix debut of Raw, like for Raw, and it was there's very few people Undertaker gives that kind of seal of approval to.
Yeah, so when he likes a wrestler, he likes a wrestler. But
so then
backstage,
what do we have next?
Zaruka, they're walking. They come across a distraught Tatum laying on a crate with a naked doll, and they're like, "We're here for you, sweetie." It's like let them be gay together. Do it, Sean. And then Izzy Dame comes in. He tells Tatum you should purge everyone you don't trust. And let them all be gay. I don't care. Tony D'Angelo's backstage. Luca walks in. He's still not dead. He says he hasn't. He says, "Yeah, I haven't heard from you since last week, Tony." And Tony's like, "You know why, you dumbass?" And Luca walks in. Luca says, "To earn back your trust, I got us a match against High Rise next week." And Tony's mad. He's like, "You didn't get my approval for this?" And Luke is like, "We're not really a family anymore, dude. I don't think I have to go through you for this authority anymore." But then
the main event.
Yep.
We got Mike Santana versus Trick Williams, and we got Walk with Elijah out in the audience during all this, which we get hinted at when Santana shakes his hand. But the match was great. I saw the point of the match. Trick rolls out, goes to deal with Elijah, smashes guitar, to keep pushing on that little feud, and out of nowhere, hop over the barricade. AJ Francis and Casey Navarro pull up.
Top Dollar is back in WWE.
They take out Santana, throw him back in the ring, so Trick can hit his trick shot back in the head, and he retains. And first class Trick Williams got a little bit of a faction going. They're standing tall, and it's interesting to see what this is going to lead to. I think this leads to, Joe Hendry coming back with Elijah and Santana. Maybe we get a 6-man tag match, but great match. I was all for it. As much as I don't like that Trick Williams is TNA champion, it was a good match.
Yeah, he's a good. That's why I think him winning the TNA championship isn't the worst thing, because he has done everything there is to do in NXT. I think now you have him go over to TNA, take on these more experienced wrestlers, have him learn in another program, have him do his own thing until he gets called up.
And Trick is doing like Trick is getting better too. Like his match with Santana was something that like a lot of people have been like, "Where's this Trick been at for a while?"
Yeah.
I think the problem is they don't know if he's main event ready, even though he's been in NXT for a while. But we'll see. I mean, I'm still not sold that him winning the TNA title was great, but yeah, it was a good match. It was a good NXT. It was a good way to end the show.
Yeah, definitely. But that was that was WWE TV for the week. It's been worse. There has been worse NXT. There's been worse WWE programming.
WWE did a very good job of building up the Money in the Bank matches.
Yes.
Actually, WWE did a good job building up every match on the Money in the Bank card except for the main event.
But yeah, that was WWE programming. We're going to have some extra talking points we're going to run through real quick, because we actually made pretty damn good time. We came in under 40 minutes for Raw and NXT put together.
After spending a chunk of time on SmackDown, we figured it out.
We were yapaholics on SmackDown. But the extra notes.
SmackDown was the show of the week.
Yeah.
So
Mariah May might have a new name. I'm thinking it's probably just going to be Mariah Mead, or Mariah May Mead, maybe. It's her name. It's not copyrighted.
I hope that if they want to do Mariah May a new name, they just
change the
Y to an E and they call her Mariah May. Like, just let her keep her name. It's not. Yeah.
Triple M.
Yeah.
She's the Fed's number one soldier.
They're gonna do something where they're gonna call her Mariah June, or something dumb like that, and I just let her be. I don't have her name.
Yeah. Carlito and R-Truth were released. We talked about that a little bit.
We talked about a little bit, and and I think we're about to get some more releases, because I don't know if you've seen this, but The Miz has taken all of his WWE relations off of his Twitter.
Yeah, but so has Gunther, and they're not letting Gunther go.
Yeah, so I mean, there's just stuff out there. We've also heard that there's been no talks about Karrion Kross's contract getting extended yet. I mean, I know he still has some time before that's
record-breaking profits, Andrew. Record-breaking profits.
Yeah, that's why we're going back to Vegas, because they gave us a ton of money. It's whatever. If the company lets Cross go, we're gonna see a riot.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the diminishing number of matches on pay-per-views these days? Because Money in the Bank in 23 was 7 matches. Last year it was 5. Now it's 4.
So I'm not opposed to less matches. If all 4 of those matches have to be 10 out of 10 matches. If you can give me a PLE that's 4 to 5 matches, they're all 10 out of 10 matches. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to a PLE only having 4 to 5 matches if they're all great built-up matches. But they're not. We have this one. We have 3 great matches on this upcoming.
And then the main event.
And then the main event. It's like, you can't do that. If you want these dumb gimmick matches, like they can't be, number one, they can't be the main event. And number 2, you have to have other matches to cover over the awful gimmick shit that you have going on.
Yep. Our last talking point for this episode, Money in the Bank predictions. So you have the men's ladder match. You have Seth Rollins, Chad Gable, El Grande Americano. Then you have Andrade, Solo Sikoa, Penta, and LA Knight. Yeah.
I think that the obvious winner of this one's LA Knight. Seth's got his own feud going on. I think Penta and Chad Gable are going to build a feud off of this, where Penta will demask El Grande Americano.
Please, God.
I like Andrade. If he wins, I wouldn't be opposed. I just don't
He's
think
there
it's
to
gonna
take
happen.
bumps, man.
And Solo Sikoa has a feud going on with Fatu, so I think LA Knight is the very obvious
Yeah,
winner here. And I
I agree
actually
with
think
you.
LA Knight is gonna. I think LA Knight cashes in on John that night. That's my prediction for that.
I need him to go to Raw. I need him out of the Bloodline vortex entirely.
Yeah, I also
I
wouldn't be
need him to.
opposed to him
He needs
cashing in
to.
on Gunther.
Yeah, cash in on Gunther after he kills Jay next Monday.
Yeah, so I think LA Knight. I don't think there's a lot of argument to be had here. I think LA Knight's winning this one.
He cannot be the new age Shelton Benjamin.
No, please,
And
please no.
so we're agreed on LA Knight. Women's Money in the Bank match, you got Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, and Alexa Bliss. Now, I know what your heart of
Okay.
heart is telling you,
No,
but from a
listen to me,
logical
though.
standpoint,
So
who do you
listen, I
predict?
thought about this last night.
In
Alexa
a
Bliss winning
haze.
is logical.
Is
Okay,
it?
hear me out. Listen, Julia has a feud. We remember at the feud with Zelina Vega? Okay, she's not winning. Roxanne has this feud going on with Judgment Day. She's not winning. Okay, Naomi has the stuff going on with Bianca and Jade that's now hitting a new point. So I don't think she's gonna win. And they already hinted at Stephanie and Rhea, and I think they might pull the trigger on that sooner than we think. The only person who has hinted at a feud with an actual champion is Alexa Bliss. I think that Alexa Bliss is set up to win this match, and I think that I think that Alexa is the favorite to win this.
Sure, man.
I don't think but I don't think it's gonna be now. If I were to say like who overall, I don't think Julia's winning it. I don't think Stephanie's winning it, and I don't think any of the three NXT call-ups are winning it. I think it's gonna be Naomi, Rhea, or Alexa. Naomi is probably the one who benefits most from winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. I'd be happy with anyone winning it as long as Rhea doesn't win it.
I think it's gonna be Naomi. It's her time.
I love Naomi, and I think she's a great wrestler. I don't think it logically makes sense to put it on her right now when her feud with Bianca and Jade is just hitting a new point.
Just imagine, but wait. Walk with me. Okay? Imagine she
Okay.
cashes in on Tiffany, and then a triple threat main event at Evolution between Jade, Bianca, and Naomi. For
See,
the women's
but
title.
I'm all for that. I'm all for it, but I don't think number one. I don't think Jade Cargill is in a position where she should be in a world title match. I don't think that. I don't think she might be ready. I just don't think that she's in that era of women's wrestling yet. And I also think that would be done no matter what, even if there's no title.
Probably.
If you don't have if you don't have Alexa Bliss win Money in the Bank, there's not a lot for her to do right now. Like she doesn't have a ton going on for her. Like you have to build up a Tiffany feud, which is you could do, but you want to know how you immediately put Alexa back into the main event scene is you just have her beat Tiffany for the thing. Let her break history, being the third woman to win a Money in the Bank match. And I think that'd be great.
Second, actually.
She'd be the second one.
Yeah, Carmella was the only one to have won it twice.
Oh, so no, but Alexa would be the third, would be the first one to win it 3 times if she won this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I want her to break history that way, and I may have jumbled my words a little bit there.
Yeah.
But I hope it's Alexa, and you know me, but I think that as long as Rhea doesn't win it, Rhea's the only one who won't benefit.
And it's nothing. It's nothing
women.
Against Rhea, but she's gonna have her title matches anyway.
Rhea, I love Rhea. I think Rhea's a great wrestler. I think she's a great performer, but she literally appeared for like 10 seconds on Raw and got the loudest pop out of everyone on that show. Rhea doesn't benefit from winning this. I don't think we need to run a Mommy in the Bank gimmick. Let's just give it to a different star who needs a reason to get back into the feud, and we'll be good.
Yep. And then we got Lyra versus Becky for the IC. I think Becky is going to probably win.
I see this ending in a Bayley return. I could see Bayley returning and beating on beating Becky up and help Lyra win. I could also see Bayley returning and starting this horsewoman heel faction with Charlotte and Alexa, who have been talking on SmackDown.
Interesting.
But I think that no matter who wins this match, I think we get Bayley's return this Saturday.
Probably. So who do you have winning?
I have Lyra winning. I think Lyra wins because Bayley comes in and helps her because Becky's doing something cheap, and I have Lyra. I have Lyra winning, and then continuing to push a feud maybe with Stephanie back here. Maybe we bring Ivy Nile back into it, and so we'll see.
Dude, Lyra versus Stephanie.
Would go hard.
Oh,
it would go hard.
The pure graps.
Would be amazing, and I think that right now Raw has a ton of good mid card women, and I think that giving the title to Becky right now would not be a great idea for the title. I think that you have Bayley come back, you have Bayley and Becky feud, and you have Lyra face off against someone else.
There's a lot of ways this could go.
Yeah, there is, but I think this is the unsung might be a great obviously the ladder matches are going to be
this could steal the night.
It could steal the show. It could.
And then what definitely won't is the main event. John Cena and Logan Paul versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. I couldn't care less who wins. It's probably going to be the heels.
I don't care for this match, and I hate saying that because I love Jey. I'm starting to like Cody more, and John Cena is my childhood hero. But I could care less about this match. We're going to see Logan Paul wrestle the match 80% of the time just for John to get a hot tag at one point because he doing a farewell tour and has decided he doesn't want to put in any effort to actually get back in shape to learn how to wrestle again. And, it's just it's sad to say I'm not ready for this match. I don't care for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a nothing burger of a main event. Honestly, it might be worse than it's definitely going to be worse than last year's main event of Solo pinning Cody.
Yeah, it's going to be awful. They're going to end the show down. Travis Scott's probably going to come out. Or The Rock is going to decide he wants to show up for this show and we'll have to change the entire ending.
Although there is one thing I saw. It was the last few years Triple H has had his SummerSlam opponent for the world champion, for the WWE champion, pin the champion. You had Jay pin Roman. You had Solo pin Cody.
So you mean to tell me that Logan Paul is going to pin Jay?
I was going to say Cody was going to pin Cena.
No, Logan Paul is probably going to pin Jay.
Probably.
Logan Paul is probably going to win the title at some point. We're going to have to deal with that.
I just won't watch Raw.
Here's what they want to do. They want to put the title on Logan Paul so bad, have him win the title, and have LA Knight cash on him immediately after. Or, I guarantee what they do is, that's what Logan Paul's going to have to win at some point. Hold on to that freaking Money in the Bank briefcase. Have him win it. Get your little social media star to take it off of him.
That reign needs to less than 2 minutes.
It better last longer than when Drew McIntyre had it.
It shouldn't last longer than when Drew had it.
It should last about 30 seconds. LA Knight better be in the ring after he gets the pin, immediately cashes in and pins him immediately. I'm not excited for this match. I really hope that we get done with this whole Cody and Jay and Cena Paul. So I hope the social media matches are put to death after this. I'm so tired of seeing it. I guarantee we get Travis Scott at some point.
Well, on that note, as we approach the hour-and-a-half mark of this episode of No Stipulation, I just want to thank our viewers for tuning into this. We yap a lot. We've had some rotating guests the last few months, but I want to thank you, Andrew, for joining me this episode, helping me out here.
Of course. Anytime you want me to be a part of it, I'm happy to be here. We talk wrestling all the time, so I'm always down for it.
Yep. But, ladies and gentlemen, our non-binary friends, that has been this episode of No Stipulations. I'm Logan, that's Andrew. See you guys next time.